Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I have another fun video for you today. I'm going to answer another foster to adopt question that I got, and I think this is going to be an interesting one. So the question that I got was, how long does it take? How long of a process is it going to take? How long will it take us to, I don't know what point you call it done or official, because even after taking a placement that's to hope to adopt, it could be 6 months to a year after that any adoption process happens, because there's a lot of court hearings involved and things that are very much out of our control. And so who knows what's going to happen. As far as being certified, they've changed the wording to certified instead of licensed in some of the shifts that they've made in the foster care system. They changed some of the goals in hopes of making it work better, and in doing that they changed some of the language. So it was interesting in the classes hearing that, and I had always said licensed. I've always thought licensed, and it was, but it's the same thing, except they're just calling it approved now, and we're a resource family or resource parents, not foster parents. I don't know. It's interesting. But our agency breaks the process down into 3 segments. There's the initial paperwork, where you turn in just the general information on your family. You do DMV, you do background checks, and then the general information like telephone numbers, addresses, stuff like that, to kind of get your file started. And one of the first major things we did was turning in the DMV paperwork and getting fingerprinted. And you have to get fingerprinted for both FBI and DOJ. It's a pretty in-depth background check. Neither of us have anything, so it wasn't a concern, but it's pretty in-depth, and it's pricier than just a normal like live scan fingerprinting. So that's important to think about. We are getting reimbursed for that once we have our first placement, but you have to pay it up front until then, which, I mean, could be negligible depending on what happens. It's really not a huge issue in the meantime, I don't think. So there's that process, and then the next one is taking the classes. We had to take 6 weeks of classes, and we have 2 we have to make up. We're still figuring out when that's going to be, and I'm really hoping that doesn't hold things off too long. I don't think it will be, because even the date that she was thinking would be the latest isn't that far away. It's still just farther than originally. So we had to miss 2, and so we have to figure out making those up. But we have 6 weeks total for ours, and they're not hard. They're a lot of information, but it's a lot of putting it into practice and really role-playing some of the situations you're going to be in and some of the concepts that you're learning about. For me, it really was a huge refresher from school, because I'm studying this stuff, which is crazy to me still, but that was the case. It was very much like, oh yeah, I remember I learned that in my class, and then practicing putting that into action. It was really fun. I have loved the classes, and I think Andrew has really enjoyed them too. And taking them together is super valuable, because not only are you learning it and experiencing it together, but then you can talk about it together. And I don't know, it helps each of you go through the process together. So yeah, there's the classes, and then we had a bunch of paperwork that talked about storing guns safely, storing knives safely, making us aware of different things we were required for. So like we have to have a water safety certification if we have a pool, which we don't. Camp does, but we don't. Or if we want to take them to a pool or the beach, we have to have one of us has to have a water safety certification to be able to do that. And I think we're both gonna get it just to both have it, because there's really no reason to not both have it. The course that she sent me the link to, it was all online and it was 20 bucks. So it's not bad. And then I don't even have to worry about which one of us has it and who's gonna be with the kids then and all of that. And I don't have to worry about camp having a pool and not having it and them not being happy I don't have it because we have a pool right there. So yeah. There was stuff like that, acknowledging different things that we were required to do or that was our position or we were acknowledging responsibility for. The water certification thing and then the gun storage thing, and we had to write out if we had any and what we had if we did, and any same thing for knives. And we're still waiting on the last batch of paperwork and the third step. That's kind of where we're at, is we finished the second round except for the 2 classes, and we're waiting still on the home study and final paperwork. So that's where we're at in the process right now. It could take us a total of 5 months, 5 or 6 months to be approved, depending on how quickly this last part goes. That would be about what I think it's going to end up being total. And I'm thinking hopefully we have no more than 2 or 3 months left before we're done at the most. I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping. It's what I'm praying for. If nothing else comes up and gets in the way, that's what I'm really praying for. But obviously we will keep you guys updated. Right now we're in a waiting period in it because our recruiter is waiting to hear back about some of the paperwork we turned in that they wanted. It's not bad or good, we're just waiting to hear. It's not, there's something wrong with it, it's just we're waiting to hear. And we're in a lull between classes. So we have our final class, besides the 2 we have to make up, and then we'll be even more of a waiting period unless things start happening. So we'll see what happens. But for the process, it really depends what your agency looks like for what they do for it, how quickly they try to take families through it. Ours tries to take it at the pace needed for the family. Ours really tries to cater to not stressing the family out in the meantime. They even talked to me about if I would be willing to maybe do some counseling about the infertility stuff. So if that's something that you're going through along with it, especially because I know I had a lot of other Turner's girls asking questions, that is something that our agency kind of talked to me about. Our recruiter asked me if I would be up for that, if it would be helpful, and I said absolutely. I've never had that opportunity and that would be great. So ours has an amazing staff of support people, whether it's the social workers, the recruiter has been awesome, and then they have the therapist that they have that kind of works with the families and everything. And yeah, so those are the things that it looks like for us. Those are the things we've had to do and what we're gonna have to do. Right now, I am extremely focused on getting the house ready. There's more outside projects on the house that are happening too, along with finishing the little final stuff inside the house. So it's moving and shaking, but it's probably going to be at least another 2 or 3 months. I'm hoping not more than that. We'll have to see though. So the length of the process really depends on you and your agency. I don't know if it's the same. Ours kind of guessed around 6 months, and that's kind of the general consensus that I've heard is about 6 months. I have heard sooner in some cases, but I think 6 months is not a bad timeline if that's what this ends up being, and it'll be worth it. So that was my best way of answering how long the process takes. I hope that answered it. If you have any other questions, any other specific questions, leave them in the comments below. I would love to keep doing videos on this topic and answer any questions that you guys have. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you liked it. If you did, give it a thumbs up and share it with everybody. And if you were not already subscribed, click the screen and subscribe, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye!